There are two sector rotations that I spotted today. One was a sector rotating out, and one was a sector rotating in. The sector rotating in was the utility sector, and one we've been looking at for some time. The sector that I spotted rotating out was the financial sector. We saw this evident with a lot of financial stocks on our ORB scanner as well, with Bank of America, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, a lot of stocks, and then Goldman Sachs at the bottom, leading the way in terms of bearish breakouts today, officially transitioning us to now a market stage of deceleration. For those of you interested in bearish trades, XLF, for me to get interested, I would like to see a little bit of a pullback towards 54.09. So for right now, I've made a note that we have a rotation out of XLF. For XLU, however, I think we're very close to the actual entry. If you're new to this channel, we've been looking at XLU since the tail end of 2025 and into the beginning of 2026. There's a lot of themes that we're looking at in play here, and with those themes, tailwind themes, including AI infrastructure, rising energy consumption, led us to drawing Fibonacci levels, drawing our technical analysis levels to see where are we interested in getting involved in XLU. Now, XLU today officially triggered a momentum cross. What does that mean? If we zoom in to price action, you'll see we have this blue dot. That tells us the 3 EMA has officially crossed above the 8 for shorter term momentum on the daily time frame chart. You can also see our market trend has officially transitioned to a market stage of acceleration. The last time we had this market stage of acceleration was towards the tail end of 2025 before we had our pullback. So in my opinion now, I think this is our first clue that, hey, this Fibonacci level near 42 is the one likely to hold. We're starting to see buyers get their footing in order with both momentum and trend changing. Now in terms of the entry, I would like to get an entry as close to the market post line as possible. Currently that's near the 43.30 mark. Might vary a little tomorrow. 43.20, 43.30 is what we're looking at for the entry. Upside target that we have can either be based off of our new Fibonacci levels, using our swing high to swing low, giving us new upside targets closer to 50, or you could even target the previous high of 46.89, or even the halfway mark given the seasonality trend we've seen, where we expect February to be a weaker month inside of XLU. Now within XLU, let's take a look at some of the top holdings, which I think are giving you some better opportunities. You don't really need to look much further than even the top 5. So if we start with NEE, for example, NEE, you can see today, broke above the previous high that we had, and in that same candle, also tagged our market pulse line. Gives you an idea of just the width of today's candle, just how big that actually was, from 89 all the way down to about 83.87. So that's a $5 wide candle. Take a look at the candles leading up to it. Very clear change in the volatility spectrum. Another one that caught my attention was Southern Co. If you take a look, this setup is very similar to the one we're seeing in XLU. We have our key Fibonacci levels. This is 88.39 to about 86. We have downside levels as well. We're just looking for this shorter term bounce here with this recent momentum switch, given that the sellers were unable to push price much below 86.84, and now we're seeing the bulls defend. So XLU is a sector that I think looks really interesting. For XLF, there's a few top holdings that we're looking at. So Wells Fargo, for example, was one in play today. A little bit away from the market pulse line, but very clear bearish signs. Bank of America, also very clearly bearish. Goldman Sachs looks a little bit stronger compared to the rest of the bunch that we were looking at right now. And if you take a look at some of these other financial stocks, you'll be able to spot either places in which the trend has already transitioned or places in which the trend has yet to transition, like this one inside of Morgan Stanley, where you still have an early entry for the momentum. So 2 sector rotations that I think took place today. One was money rotating outside of XLF, the trend changing here. Any shorter term bounces I think are nice opportunities to get short. And then we had a rotation into XLU, where we had our market stage transition to acceleration. We have a few top holdings that we took a look at as well, which looked interesting in terms of getting involved on the bullish side, where you still have the trend intact. Take care, everyone. Good luck trading, and I'll see you in our next update.